Dimensions Tech Tip video. My name is Garrett and I will be continuing the tips and tricks series from our SolidWorks 2016 Rollout events. First up is a shortcut tool called mouse gestures. Activated on a right-click drag, these context-sensitive customizable shortcut wheels give fast access to common commands. As this has been covered many times since its introduction in 2010, I'll just briefly review. It's a customization option. It's accessible either from the Tools menu or from the Options drop-down under Customize. Once in the Mouse Gestures tab, I can turn the function on or off, utilize 4 or 8 gestures, and also show commands with mouse gestures assigned and make edits and modifications as needed. Next up, some sketching tips. On first sketch or feature creation, I'm automatically oriented normal to my sketch. I'll use an extrude feature and I'll pick the front plane. Notice we are now normal to that front plane. This makes it very convenient to sketch in 2D. I'll use mouse gestures. We'll grab a rectangle, grab our dimension tool, make a fully defined sketch, and complete our feature. However, in subsequent sketches, the model remains in its current orientation. If I try to apply a new sketch in this face, notice that we're still in the trimetric view. To adjust this behavior, again under Options, under Sketch, we have Auto Rotate View Normal to sketch plane on sketch creation. So now, if I go ahead and apply maybe a cut feature on this face, I automatically go normal to the face. Now that I'm in a sketch, I'm going to create a simple closed profile and add smart dimensions to create a weld prep. Make the land and the radius, keep a tangent line up, and I'll just modify this just a little bit. Great. Let's go ahead and make that thickness here. Add the length. And now here to finish up these last angles, typically I can grab either a sketch segment or a reference edge and then create the angle. Nothing new here. However, if you weren't aware, I could also select the sketch entity itself and one of its endpoints. By doing this, I get access to a little compass that I can pick the reference direction for the dimension. Now I can add my 60-degree directly from the top. Add one final dimension, and we are fully defined. Go ahead and finish that cut. But as we complete this feature, we notice that I've created multiple faces. This may not be desired, particularly if you're trying to apply a cam path. Editing the sketch, we can use the Fit Spline command to combine these entities into a single spline. I'm going to use the S key to search for the function. Just type in fit, hit enter, adjust the properties as needed, and now as I hover over, we see that I do have the spline icon. Once I rebuild the feature, notice now we have a single smooth face. This next sketch tool that I'd like to show has come in quite handy whether evaluating model geometry or trying to reverse engineer a neutral CAD file, or dumb solid as we generally call it. If I create a sketch plane that slices the model, so again I'll use maybe some of these quick methods to create a new plane. Once I sketch, again my auto normal function is turned on, but I'm going to go ahead and rotate I can now use the intersection curve function. I'll select the face, and under Convert Entities we find intersection curve. In 2D, as mentioned, wherever the plane slices the model and the face I select, I can then convert that silhouette or model profile onto the current sketch plane. In a 3D sense, if I control select multiple faces and then hit intersection curve, the command will automatically generate a 3D sketch based on that intersection. Now, throughout these tips, I've been manipulating the model. We should all be aware that middle-click drag will rotate the model, as well as utilizing the arrow keys. The speed and amount of that rotation can be modified by going back into our options. Under View, we can see that the default rotation for arrow keys is 15 degrees, so we can adjust that as needed. Maybe bring that down to 5. And my mouse speed is set to fast. So for demonstration purposes, I'll slow that right down, click OK. So now, when I use my arrow keys, very small motion. And now when I use my middle click drag, we see that it's moving very, very slowly, and I can get much finer control on my rotations. Again, if I'm inspecting very minute detail or internal detail that maybe have an access window, this would be a nice feature. To finish this stuff off, I'm going to turn these options back to default. Again, under our view, and OK. Moving over to drawings for our last few tips here. This is more of a reminder. Don't forget the zoom to sheet function, again added this past year in 2015. Similar to the zoom to fit, zoom to sheet does just that. In the cases where you may have a reference drawing view or a drawing view that happens to overhang some of the edges, by hitting zoom to sheet, it does just that. You zoom right into your sheet and you can avoid all the extraneous views. But my final tip is for organizing drawing dimensions, especially for those of you that import annotations. From the Model Items command, it is an option. When I bring those in, I can say, let's use dimension placement in the sketch. However, if I haven't done that and I just have a jumble of dimensions, I can use another tip that was mentioned earlier by selecting an entity, in this case a dimension, and hitting Ctrl-A. I will select all of that entity, in this case dimensions. Once I do that, I still have the option to hover over the dimension flyout tool, and right at the bottom left corner there is Auto Arrange Dimensions. Once I select this option, we can see that the dimensions have been moved off the model based on their offsets based in the settings, and we are ready for final touches. These have been my tips and tricks. Thank you, and join us again for another tech tip video.
Don't forget to check us out on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and our blog for more great content by clicking on the links in the description below.